You've probably watched a real expert at work, right? And you're just sitting there thinking, how on earth could I ever learn to do that? It seriously looks like magic sometimes. Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're talking about a process called task analysis. It's basically a method for decoding an expert's art and turning it into a science that anyone can learn. So picture this. You're an instructional designer, and you're in a room with two absolute legends in car design. They're telling you all about their intuitive, gut feel process. But when you ask them how you'd actually teach this to someone new, one of them, Dr. Royce, just hits you with this question. See, for him, it's not a skill you can teach. It's just an art. And that, right there, is the heart of the problem we're talking about today. How do you capture knowledge that just feels so intangible? How do you bottle up an expert's art and turn it into a science that a total beginner can actually learn from? Now, what's really fascinating is that a huge majority of instructional designers, we're talking over 78% of them, they all agree that there is a method for this. And not only that, they say it's the single most critical step for creating effective training. But, and this is a big but, here's the crazy disconnect. Even though it's so important, only about 38% of their clients even get what it's for. So you've got this incredibly powerful tool that for the most part is just completely overlooked. So what is this secret weapon? This powerful yet totally misunderstood solution? It's task analysis. This is the process that builds the bridge between what an expert knows and what a learner needs to know. And it's our direct answer to Dr. Royce's challenge. In a nutshell, task analysis is all about systematically breaking down what an expert does into small, learnable pieces. It's a game changer because it totally shifts the focus from, what does the expert want to talk about to what does the learner actually need to do to be successful? Okay, so before we jump into how to do a task analysis, we first need to understand what we're even looking for. This whole process is designed to help us hunt down and identify 6 distinct types of knowledge. And getting a handle on these 6 structures is absolutely key. They cover the whole spectrum, from simple things you memorize, like facts and concepts, all the way up to complex, ordered procedures, and those really tricky interpersonal skills. Task analysis gives us a framework to find and organize every single one. Let's just quickly clear up a common point of confusion, the difference between a fact and a concept. A fact is a simple link you just have to memorize, like knowing the chemical symbol for potassium is K. The concept is the bigger bucket it belongs in this case, the concept of elements. Nailing this difference is crucial for building clear instruction. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. But how do we actually uncover these 6 types of knowledge? Well, it turns out we have a toolkit with 3 main techniques, and each one is designed for a very specific job. So here's the quick cheat sheet for our toolkit. Topic analysis is for cognitive stuff, what you know. Procedural analysis is for tasks, what you do. And the critical incident method, that's for analyzing experiences, which is perfect for digging into those fuzzy interpersonal skills and attitudes. Let's break down how each one works. First up, we've got topic analysis. The best way to think about this tool is like creating a blueprint for knowledge. It helps you organize all the facts, concepts, and principles into a logical outline, so you can see exactly how everything fits together. For example, let's take wood fasteners. You wouldn't just make a random list, right? No, with topic analysis, you build a structure. You'd have your main categories like nails, screws, and bolts. Then, under screws, you'd start layering in more details, like facts about their materials or principles about how size is determined. All of a sudden, you have a clear, organized map of the subject. All right, on to tool number 2, procedural analysis. This one is all about deconstructing a task into a clear step-by-step guide. It looks at both the physical actions you can see and, just as importantly, the hidden mental processes behind them. Take a cabinet maker preparing a piece of wood for its finish. It's not just one single action, it's a very specific sequence of steps. A procedural analysis maps out this exact flow, making the entire process teachable from start to finish. But hang on, this is where it gets really good. A great analysis doesn't just list the steps. It goes deeper and asks, what are the subtle cues? The feel, the sound, the look, that tell an expert, yep, this is right, or whoa, something's off here.
And that right there is the huge difference between an observable action and a covert process. I mean, anybody can see someone tightening a bolt. But the real expertise, the magic, is that invisible, hidden knowledge. That feel for knowing when it's just right. That's what separates a beginner from a master, and it's what a great analysis manages to capture. And that brings us to our third tool, which is designed for the most complex human-centered skills. It's called the critical incident method. Honestly, it's like being a detective. You use these special interviews to analyze interpersonal skills by digging into real-world examples of success and failure. So the way this technique works is you have experts recall very specific, critical moments from their past. Then the interviewer carefully deconstructs not just what they did, but what they were thinking at the time, and crucially, why their actions led to a good outcome or a bad one. So, after all that work, after using this whole toolkit, what's the big payoff? How do we finally get from that unteachable art to something you can actually build instruction around? This right here is the key insight. The true power of task analysis is that it forces a massive shift in perspective. You stop looking at the world from the expert's point of view, and instead, you're forced to see it from the learner's perspective, focusing only on what they absolutely must do to be successful. And that is the definitive answer to Dr. Rice's challenge. Task analysis is the bridge. It's the thing that turns an expert's mysterious art into a learnable science. It gives you the structured, broken-down content that is the essential ingredient for the next step, writing clear, effective instructional objectives. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Think about the experts in your own world. Maybe it's that superstar salesperson or that incredibly intuitive mechanic. What is the unteachable art that they possess? And now that you have these tools in your back pocket, how could you start to decode it?